With over 1.2 billion sheep worldwide, these animals are raised for soft wool, rich milk, and tender meat. From ancient herds to modern mega-farms in Australia and New Zealand, sheep remain essential to global agriculture. Every morning begins with grazing, milking, or shearing, and ends in markets across the world. This is the story of nature's most versatile farm animal. Sheep were the first domesticated over 11,000 years ago, kick-starting organized livestock farming. Sheep are incredibly versatile animals raised for their soft wool, tender meat, and rich milk. Today, there are over 1.2 billion sheep in the world. The top producers include China, Australia, India, Sudan, and New Zealand, with Australia alone exporting over 50,000 live sheep per shipment across the ocean. Whether it's for milk, meat, or wool, sheep are at the heart of some of the most important agricultural economies worldwide. The journey begins with choosing the right breed. Breeds like Dorper, Suffolk, and Textile are popular due to their rapid growth and high meat yield. For milk, East Frisian and Awassi sheep are among the best. Picking the right breed means better productivity and healthier animals. Every morning starts with feeding. Sheep primarily graze on grass, but during dry or cold seasons, they're given hay, grains, and mineral-rich supplements to stay healthy and productive. Spring is lambing season. Ewes are pregnant for about 5 months, and the warm weather ensures they have access to the nutrition needed to carry and nurse their lambs. And here's a fun fact: lambs can recognize their mother's voice within days of being born. Newborn lambs need warmth, proper nutrition, and gentle care to grow strong. Their mother's milk, rich in fats and nutrients, helps them grow quickly. From just 10 to 20 days old, lambs begin weaning and gradually switch to young grass and special feed. By just a few months, their signature thick wool begins to form, and they start contributing to the farm's productivity. Here's something wild. Sheep wool never stops growing. Without regular shearing, some sheep can grow up to 40 kilograms of wool, causing overheating, blindness, or even death. On the farm, skilled shearers work quickly but gently, ensuring that each sheep is safely shorn without harm. Shearing is essential for their health and is often done once a year, yielding around 4-8 kilograms of wool per sheep. After shearing, sheep are treated with anti-parasitic sprays, vitamins, and are marked for identification. This keeps them healthy and infection-free. Each ewe can produce up to 3 liters of rich, creamy milk per day, perfect for making gourmet cheese. sheep are gently guided into the milking area, where their udders are cleaned before being connected to automatic milking machine. Sheep milk is a nutrient powerhouse, containing more calcium, protein, and vitamins than cow's milk. It's used to make premium cheeses like Roquefort and Pecorino. In fact, some dairy sheep can produce up to 600 liters of milk per year. That's enough for over 120 kilograms of cheese. Sheep are typically harvested for meat when they reach 6 to 12 months of age. Transporting sheep by trucks and ships is common in major sheep-producing regions like Australia and New Zealand. In fact, Australia exports over 1 million live sheep annually by sea. At the port, the sheep are transferred onto massive livestock ships. And here's something you might not expect. Some live export ships can carry over 50,000 sheep at once. These floating farms are equipped with feeding systems, water supply, and onboard veterinarians. The sheep are monitored around the clock during long sea journeys. After days at sea, the cargo ship arrives at its destination port. Here, the sheep are unloaded with the same level of care and precision as when they were loaded. At the meat factory, sheep carcasses are divided into smaller parts such as ribs, shoulder, calf, thigh, according to market requirements. This process is often performed by automatic cutting machines and industrial lines, creating neat and even meat parts. Then, skilled workers manually trim fat, check hygiene indicators like bacteria levels and heavy metals, and vacuum seal the meat for safe delivery. Lamb meat has a rich, slightly gamey flavor and is often grilled, stewed, or turned into kebabs. It's a high-protein, heart-friendly meat rich in iron, vitamin B12, and unsaturated fats, making it a favorite in both traditional and modern kitchen. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video. Did you know a single oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water a day, and that billions of them are farmed every year to feed seafood lovers around the world? From microscopic larvae in high-tech hatcheries to baskets of plump oysters hauled from the sea, and finally to the precise, fast-paced processing lines in seafood factories, this is the incredible journey of the oyster. Let's crack it open. Did you know oysters are way cooler than they look? These humble shellfish are actually tiny underwater superheroes, since a single oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water per day. And here's the fun twist. Oysters are gender fluid. Most start life as males and switch to female as they grow, and some even flip back and forth. Plus, they don't have a central brain, but they can still sense light, movement, and even chemicals in the water. But wait, there's more. Oysters form massive reefs, kind of like coral reefs, that provide safe havens for hundreds of marine species like fish, crabs, and shrimp. These reefs also protect shorelines from erosion by breaking waves. And finally, they've been around for over 500 million years, which means oysters have survived multiple mass extinctions. So next time you slurp one down, remember you're eating a water-purifying, reef-building, gender-bending marvel of the sea. The oyster hatchery process starts with carefully chosen broodstock healthy, strong oysters picked for breeding. These VIP oysters are placed in tanks with warm, food-rich water to trigger spawning. Males and females release sperm and eggs into the water, where fertilization happens naturally. A single female can release millions of eggs. Once fertilized, the baby oysters called larvae float around for a few weeks, developing tiny shells and eventually finding a hard surface to settle on. These baby oysters get a steady diet of yummy microalgae and lots of TLC. As they grow, they start forming their first teeny tiny shells-like adorable mini versions of their parents. Once the larvae are ready, they settle onto small surfaces and begin their journey as spat. From there, they move into a nursery system where they keep growing until they're strong and big enough for life in the wild or on an oyster farm. These hatchery-raised oysters are sent off to different growing areas where farmers use a variety of cool methods to raise them. One popular setup is the floating upweller system, where oysters live in floating tanks with constant water flow, helping them grow fast and healthy. Another method is the longline system, where oysters are tied in bunches along long ropes that hang below the water in intertidal zones. It's like oyster yoga, stretching out on ropes, soaking up nutrients, and growing into tasty, eco-friendly powerhouses. Another popular oyster farming method is basket culture, where oysters grow inside mesh baskets that float or hang in the water. Each basket can hold anywhere from 100 to 200 oysters, giving them enough room to feed, grow, and tumble naturally with the currents. This method helps keep the oysters clean, well-shaped, and evenly grown. In some coastal areas where floating gear isn't practical, like places with strong tides or heavy boat, traffic farmers turn to the on-bottom method. This involves spreading or shoveling juvenile oysters directly onto the seabed, where they settle, grow, and thrive together just like they would in the wild. Harvest time for oysters is like payday for farmers. It usually happens once the oysters reach market size, which can take 12 to 24 months, depending on the growing method and water conditions. When the time comes, fishers hop on their boats and head out to the farm. With a mix of muscle and machinery, They use gear systems like winches, conveyors, and even saw-toothed wheels to lift baskets or ropes full of oysters up from the water and onto the boat. It's a satisfying haul, as months of patient growing finally turn into a boatload of briny goodness. But not everything is high-tech. About 10–20% of the oysters are still hand-picked, especially the premium ones destined for fancy plates. These are carefully chosen for size and shape, giving a personal touch to an otherwise industrial process. Once the oysters are harvested, they're offloaded either right on the boat or back at the dockets like a mini oyster festival of crates, baskets, and busy hands. To keep the oysters fresh and alive for markets or special orders, fishers use clever wet storage methods. Some oysters go into special temperature-controlled tanks or tubs, while others are kept in mesh bags, suspended back into the bay, soaking in clean natural water. These methods help the oysters stay healthy and tasty all the way to the customer's plate. After oysters are harvested, their shells don't go to waste, they get a second life. Farmers and conservation teams collect the used shells, clean off any leftover bits, and let them cure in the sun for a few months. Once they're all cleaned up, these shells are brought back into hatcheries, where they serve as the perfect surface for baby oysters to attach to and grow. It's a beautiful, sustainable cycle. And now, we're back at the processing facility where the freshly harvested oysters begin the next leg of their journey. First up, they get a good rinse in large wash tanks to remove any mud or debris. Then, machines carefully chip away and separate oysters that are clumped together. After that, it's grading time. Special graders sort each oyster based on size and quality with impressive precision. Once sorted, the oysters head to the shucking station, where one side of the shell is removed and a layer of ice is added to keep them fresh. From there, they're either packed as fresh oysters or flash frozen for delivery, ready to hit seafood markets and dinner tables far and wide. After the oysters are shucked and separated from their shells, they're given a careful rinse to remove grit and shell fragments. Then comes the packing process. Oysters are placed into containers filled with liquid to keep them fresh. But what's that liquid, you ask? It's not just plain water. It's typically a mix of filtered seawater or a saltwater brine, sometimes blended with the oyster's own natural juices, known as liquor. This flavorful liquid helps preserve the oyster's taste and texture, keeping that briny, ocean-fresh vibe alive right up to the moment they're cracked open for a meal. If you're ready to enjoy fresh oysters at home, you'll need to master the art of shucking. Grab an oyster knife, wrap the oyster in a towel with the hinge facing out, and carefully wiggle the knife into the hinge. Twist gently until it pops open, then slide the blade along the top shell to release the oyster. Voila! Fresh, briny goodness ready to slurp. Beyond enjoying oysters raw and briny straight from the shell, there are tons of delicious ways to cook them up. You can bake them with garlic, butter, and cheese, grill them with a splash of hot sauce and lemon, or deep fry them until crispy and golden. Some people love them broiled, steamed, or even tossed into a hearty seafood stew. However you like them, oysters are full of flavor.
Have you ever seen a pig tearing up a lawn like a bulldozer? Across 39 U.S. states, feral hogs are doing exactly that, ripping through fields, backyards, and even city parks. With numbers exploding from 2 million in 1990 to almost 9 million today, the problem is no longer rural. Let us know in the comments. Have you ever spotted one in your area? Feral hogs are now one of the most destructive invasive species in the United States. In the wild, these animals travel in large groups called sounders, rooting through forests and farmland like living plows. With their strong snouts, they dig deep into the ground in search of food, destroying native plants, spreading erosion, and damaging ecosystems in the process. In the U.S. alone, feral hogs cause an estimated $2.5 billion in agricultural and environmental damage each year. But the destruction doesn't stop in rural areas. In some cities, feral hogs have been spotted roaming through neighborhoods, overturning trash bins, tearing up lawns, and even threatening pets. Their ability to adapt makes them a problem almost anywhere: farms, forests, and now even suburban streets. To prevent the feral hog population from spiraling further out of control, experts estimate that 60 to 70% of all hogs must be removed every single year. That's nearly 6 million hogs just to break even. Because trapping alone can't meet that number, hunting has become a vital control strategy. In states like Texas, Georgia, and Florida, licensed hunters often partner with farmers to help reduce hog populations. These hunts are regulated by state authorities to ensure safety and impact. Hunters use a wide variety of tools, from rifles and shotguns to thermal scopes and night vision drones that help track hogs after dark. In some areas, hunters even take to the skies in helicopters, chasing fast-moving sounders across open terrain. With billions in damages each year, every successful hunt helps protect farmland and native ecosystems. For farmers, one of the most reliable tools is the corral trap, a large circular enclosure designed to catch entire groups of feral hogs at once. These traps are often equipped with trail cameras and remote-controlled gates, allowing the operator to spring the trap at just the right time. Because hogs are strong and clever, the walls are built with solid steel panels. Anything weaker can easily be broken through by these surprisingly agile animals. Another effective method is the drop-gate cage trap. This is a tough metal box baited with strong-smelling foods like fermented corn or sweet potatoes. When a hog steps on the pressure plate inside, the gate slams shut, fast and efficient. To keep hogs from escaping, these traps must be at least 5 feet high. In some regions, wildlife teams and farmers also use net traps. Camouflaged along feeding trails or in tall grass, net traps are triggered by motion sensors or remote control. While less common than steel cages, nets are lightweight, reusable, and excellent for catching fast or cautious animals. Once feral hogs are trapped, farmers and wildlife teams quickly move in to harvest the animals. In some cases, they are captured alive for research, relocation, or farming, especially in areas where wild hog meat is in demand. But more often, the priority is rapid population control. That's why on-site euthanasia is the standard method. Hogs are usually shot inside the trap to prevent escape and minimize stress. In Texas alone, over 750,000 feral hogs are killed each year, and even that isn't enough to keep their numbers in check. Surprisingly, feral hog meat is considered a delicacy in many places. After harvesting, some rural communities even roast the meat on site. It's lean, protein-rich, and surprisingly flavorful. A single full-grown hog can weigh over 300 pounds, producing enough meat to feed an entire gathering, making the hunt not just a necessity, but a shared reward.